Hi everyone and welcome back. Today marks the beginning of what I can only describe as an epic multi-stage European adventure. I'll be travelling all the way from Sussex in the UK to Hamburg, Germany, Cologne and Brussels without flying. Keep watching to see how this epic adventure unfolds. It includes many trains, a cruise ship and a lot of walking. Unfortunately, I got off to a bit of a bad start. The first train was delayed, and so that's the beginning of the journey. Delayed. And then, partway through the journey, all of the passengers were asked to get off because the service was cancelled. It's one of those moments that really tests your patience, but you just have to take a deep breath and go with it. So it looks like we're going to be here for quite a while. So there's only one thing to do really, which was to head over, had a look online to find if there was definitely a cafe here. And I bought myself the world's most expensive can of Stella, which I don't even really like that much, but I figure it's just going to help make the wait a little bit less painful. So we're going to give it a go. So luckily I was able to jump on a fast train that's going to Cardiff, so it's non-stop as far as Southampton. It should only be about 20 minutes, so hopefully we'll make up a bit of time. I just need to not fall asleep now and end up in Cardiff, because that would be a total disaster. So actually, this worked out better than I was expecting. We got on a fast train all the way to Southampton, no stops, which was great. I was not expecting to travel on Great Western Railways today, but they did a great job of getting me to Southampton. Aside from the delays, the train journey to Southampton was a really relaxed start to the day, and at least I didn't have to worry about finding somewhere to park. I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to walk or take an Uber to the Premier Inn, but I think I'm actually going to walk. Could do with a bit of exercise. Last time when I cruised from Southampton and stayed overnight, I stayed at the Moxie Hotel. You can check out that review. I'll put the link in here now. This time I decided I'd give the Premier Inn a go. I got dinner included at the hotel. I feel like I've travelled a little bit lighter this time, but my camera bag keeps getting heavier and heavier. I think this is the first day of the year I've worn shorts. It was so hot today when I was working from home. Now it's got a little bit chillier, so I'll be glad to put on some jeans when I get back to the hotel. One of the good things about Southampton is, particularly if you stay down near the port, you've got the big West Quay shopping centre, IKEA, all of those kind of places where you can spend a bit of time, pick up a few last minute bits if you need them for your trip. I think I'm good this time. I'm looking forward to dinner and a cold beer. That really was super easy to get to. Let's go and check in. The Premier Inn is a great choice for convenience and a good night's sleep, and I was lucky enough to get one of their new Next Evolution rooms. Let me give you a quick tour. You can tell it's had a really stylish update. You've got a super comfy Hypnos bed right here, which is exactly what I need. The room is clean, tidy and has all the essentials, plus some great upgrades. There's a proper coffee machine, which is a game changer for a coffee lover like me. They've also improved connectivity and some great mood lighting options in the bathroom, which makes it feel a lot more modern, I think. It's exactly what you expect from Premier Inn, but with some fantastic new perks, and that's a great thing. I'm going to spend the evening just relaxing and getting ready for the big day tomorrow. By the way, I've got a full in-depth review of this hotel, so if you're ever in Southampton and need a good place to stay, make sure you check out that video. I'll link it in the description below. But for now, it's time to get some dinner, at least a glass of wine or two. Cheers. And some rest. Our cruise adventure starts in the morning. After a great night's sleep, it was a super easy and short walk from the hotel to the Horizon Cruise Terminal, which is where I'm sailing from today. Well, that's it. Goodbye, lovely Premier Inn. See you another time. So my original plan for this trip was going to be, so we stayed in Yacht Club last month, and that's the luxury kind of ship within a ship concept on MSC Cruises. So my plan was to see, would I enjoy a cruise where I had kind of the most basic kind of options. So I booked an inside cabin, got no drinks package, no Wi-Fi, only hot drinks I think are included in the main restaurant and the buffet. Obviously there's juices or things like that as well. So that was my plan. But then things changed slightly. So maybe it might have been a week or possibly slightly more after I booked the cruise, I got an email from MSC to say that I'd been upgraded to an obstructed view balcony cabin, which kind of changed the concept of the video a little bit. I was so lucky to get a fantastic paid upgrade. I got an email to say about bidding for an upgrade. I just couldn't resist it, so my bid of £80 was enough to score an upgrade to the Aurea level. Having an Aurea level cabin means you get a great balcony, a good location, and a few other perks like priority boarding and free access to the spa. I've never actually walked to get on a ship before, so this is something new for me as well. All right, where do we go from here? I feel like where I am, I should be able to see the ship from here. I can't quite yet. It looks like I'm the only one mad enough to be walking to the terminal this morning. Being so close made the morning feel completely stress-free, which is exactly what you want on the day you set sail. I can't actually see any smoke coming out the funnel. There's quite a lot of controversy at the moment in Southampton, and I guess more globally as well, about cruise ships continuing to have their engines on in port, causing all sorts of pollution. They really want ships to hook up to shoreside power, which is a lot more environmentally friendly. But I don't think that cruise companies will do that until they're actually forced to by legislation, because the cost of that is significantly more than running the engine. There's also an issue here in Southampton that there aren't enough shoreside power points for all the ships. So today Preziosa is the only one in, but on a day when there's multiple ships in, there's not enough shoreside power. I've become more and more conscious about the environmental impact of cruising, and I think there are small things that we can all do. Things like not wasting food, not leaving lights on in our cabins. All of those things take power to generate, and if we can reduce that down a little bit, it will make a difference. Just look at this ship, she's absolutely huge. The feeling of stepping onto a cruise ship is something else. The energy is buzzing and everyone is so excited. There's more people getting on today than I thought, and people getting on early as well, to be fair. I'm not going to be able to film as we go through security. Now the thing I'm going to have to try and remember is where my cabin is. So I've recently been sorting out our next cruise, and all I can remember now is that cabin number. So I'm not quite sure why it is, but this is the first cruise I've ever been asked to leave my passport. I don't know whether that's because the UK is not in the EU anymore. I certainly never had that happen on any other cruise. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem to get it back early enough to get the train when I disembark. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'd say getting through security and check-in wasn't really bad at all. It must have taken maybe half an hour at the most. I'll be on board for just 2 nights on this cruise. This isn't just any cruise. We're on a one-way trip all the way to Hamburg, Germany. I just come down to my cabin to drop my bags. I'm super pleased not to have to carry those around any more. I was getting a bit sweaty. I'll be sharing some of the highlights of the ship and the journey over the next couple of days. First, let me show you my cabin. So I've had to make the bed up into a double. This looks like a really good size bed. I guess it's what we would call in the UK king size. And I've got quite a few goodies here as well. So this is an Aurea class room. So there are a few bits that you get with that. So they gave me over here some Prosecco and chocolate. And then because I'm Diamond in the Voyagers Club, I got another bottle of Prosecco and more chocolate. Some of that will definitely be going home for Milo. And I also got these slippers and the room diffuser. I'm a bit addicted to these. And then here's my macaron. And then a relatively small TV. I think it's actually in quite a good position because you could see it both from the sofa and from the bed. Quite a good sized table, so this would be plenty big enough, like if you've got a room service tray or something like that. A lot of cruise ship cabins, the sofas are just not comfortable at all because obviously they're just designed more to be an extra bed. But this is really comfortable and a good size as well. Then obviously by the bed, you've got phone and this quite nice kind of red coloured headboard behind the bed as well. So look, over here we've got this mirror and then another great big one by the vanity unit. I'd say it just makes the cabin feel really big. The minibar is locked at the moment. I don't think I'd necessarily be having anything from it anyway. So let me show you the bathroom next. Got a nice sink area, plenty of space to put things up on the shelf. An old relic, which is a ashtray. So there's no smoking in cabins anymore. And then I'd say actually a really good sized shower. I'm actually going to go a bit out on a limb and say that I actually prefer this bathroom to the one in the Yacht Club in the Grand Deluxe suite. Maybe it's just because it feels like it's trying to cram less in. So let me show you onto the balcony. I think this is a really good sized balcony. No complaints at all. It's always a bit hard to film on the balcony as well to really get the sense of scale. There's no table for sitting at, but you've got this kind of footstool and then also you've got light. And that's the thing that you don't often get now on cruise ship balconies. So yeah, at least it means you can sit out here in the evening with a cold or a hot drink even. So I think I'm going to have a glass of Prosecco from my 2 bottles, which is also very good because I don't have a drinks package, so I'm going to sit and enjoy a glass on the balcony. And now it's time for the muster drill. MSC is one of the few cruise lines that we've been on recently where you actually have to physically go to the muster station yourself. I always annoy Milo by saying it's a mustard station, but yeah, I think it's a dad joke. I thought I'd get a coffee before the exercise started, but the bar's closed, so I'm just going to sit and chill here for a bit and then head over and check myself in at the muster station. It's one of the things about cruising with MSC that I found is different to other cruise lines, is that because people get on and off at each port, there's basically a muster drill every single day. They close all of the bars, etc., whilst they do the muster drill. So it can be a little bit annoying, but at least today is actually my day for a muster station. and then tomorrow's a sea day, so it's only going to happen the once on this cruise. This is the shortest cruise I've ever been on. These short cruises often have a bit of a reputation for being the party cruise, so it'd be interesting to see what that's like. There's a real mix of different guests on board at the moment. This is only a 2-night cruise from Southampton, and other passengers will have been on from Hamburg or Le Havre or many other different places, so you get a real mix of people. But I've seen quite a few birthday parties, stag parties, hen do's, like all the people just have a really good time, which is nice. Just as you walk, so this is, I guess this is the promenade deck. I'm pretty certain you can't get all the way around this. Definitely a fresh breeze. And now that the sun's gone behind a cloud, it is also not particularly warm. It's started to rain as well. So I gave up on the idea of that coffee, I think because all the bars are being closed. But I think I'm going to try and resurrect it and grab one to take back to the cabin. Once they started serving again after the safety drill, it actually didn't take very long to wait at all. So I've got myself double espresso and a Lagunitas IPA, and the glass came out of the freezer as well, which I absolutely love. So it's a bit random having coffee and beer at the same time, but I need a pick-me-up and also the first beer of this trip, if you don't count last night, obviously. So it's about 7:30 here and we're due to depart. There were quite a few people who were running to get on the ship. All aboard time was 7 and they were running along the pier at 7:15. I didn't want to film them because I always think, oh, that will never be me, until it is me. Whenever we go on an excursion, we always make sure that we allow 2 or 3 hours before we get back, especially if it's an independent excursion. I would not like to be them running to get on. I'd say they were very lucky to get on at 7:15. So we're just about ready to go. And as a proper cruise geek, I have to be out on deck, so it's leaving Southampton. Doesn't seem to matter how many times I've been here doing it, but I still like to watch dinner. So this evening I booked dinner at the Butcher's Cut Steakhouse. If you're a steak lover, this is an absolute must-do on MSC Preziosa. Because I'm a diamond level in the MSC Voyagers Club, I got a free meal at Butcher's Cut. The normal price is $39 plus gratuity, so this is a pretty nice perk at the Voyagers Club. MSC is one of the few cruise lines that match your loyalty status with another cruise line. Because we're elite on Celebrity, we joined at gold level, and then having done a couple more cruises, I'm now diamond. I'd describe the atmosphere as upscale, classy, refined, but it's comfortable and not pretentious. I decided to go for the burrata and beet salad for my starter, and then I'm going to have the New York sirloin with a side of mac and cheese. Normally I'd have fries, but fancy a bit of a change. Through this amazing looking bread basket. Everything is still warm, and we've got some nice butter that comes with it. Of course, goes without saying that I have got a large glass of Malbec. So this is my burrata and beet salad. It's absolutely amazing. It's so good. It's proper burrata as well. Goes so well with the beetroot. There's also a bit of pesto in here as well, I think. Still exploring the bread basket. In the UK we'd call a cheese scone. There's a different selection of breads as well. Just have to try them all. So I got the sirloin, all the different sauces here, and also my mac and cheese. That was really good steak. Perfectly cooked as well. Just trying the mac and cheese too. It's also really good. This is like my perfect meal, but not the perfect meal for my arteries. This is enough for 2 people. We would normally have something like this. Between the 3 of us at home, I'm going to be beaten by the steak, I'm afraid. So I did go for the cheesecake, and actually I'd say this looks like a sensible portion compared to the size of the steak. Let's dig in and see what it's like. Fresh strawberries on here, really nice. It was a dining experience that I won't forget, and the service was amazing, and I think actually that's always the difference in the specialty restaurants. The service is just another notch up the level. It was a perfect way to celebrate the start of this trip. I feel a bit feeble, so it's not even quite 10 o'clock yet, but I'm absolutely done in. I've got a lot of things going on at home at the moment and at work, so I'm going to turn in, read my book for a bit, and try and get a fair bit of sleep. So I'll see you all in the morning. Well, a very good morning from here, somewhere in the North Sea. It's about 8:30 here, and the clock went forward 1 hour last night, so I was cheated out of 1 hour of sleep. I didn't actually sleep all that well. It was quite noisy, so I think this cabin is directly opposite where the entrance to lifts are. So you get people coming both ways, leaving and coming back to their cabin. They were quite noisy, but to be honest, you expect that because this is a 2-night cruise. You get a lot more partying than you do on a regular week or 2 weeks cruise. So not a big issue. I will probably just try and have a nap a bit later. My plan for today is going to be have a coffee. So in the room we do have a kettle and tea and coffee, and then I'm going to go to the gym and probably go for brunch. They don't actually do
like a set breakfast anymore, it's brunch. If you go to the buffet, then obviously you can get a regular breakfast, but I quite fancy trying brunch. It's got quite a nice menu. I'll put the menu up for you to have a look at. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do this afternoon. Maybe a bit of editing, and maybe I'll try the spa.
Nothing beats starting the day with smoked salmon and perfectly poached eggs whilst you're sailing across the North Sea. Such a good experience. This Bircher muesli is very tasty as well. Such a great idea having brunch. So much more civilised than having to get up super early for breakfast, or then when you don't get up super early for breakfast, ending up having to go to the buffet. What's your go-to breakfast? Let me know in the comments below. One of the other benefits of your upgrade is that you don't have to have fixed dining. On our first cruise on MSC, we were given early dining at 5:30, and it really was just too early for us, especially on a port day when we've been out exploring. Dinner in the main dining room is a bit of a mixed experience on this cruise. Tonight I'm eating in the My Time, our main dining. Been given, actually, I think it's quite a good table because it's right by the door and very good for people watching. I'm going to have fried calamari to start, and then I'm going to have lasagna, because that's really good when I've had it before. And I've got some bread already, some focaccia, which is really good. It's one of those slightly perplexing things where it says you need to scan the QR code for the menu. Then they brought me a menu anyway. Certainly all going on in here tonight. Super busy, I guess because the theatre's not long finished. And the theatre was amazing this evening. But it's a hectic kind of environment, and actually it's alright as long as you don't mind too much. I'm quite happy doing it this evening, but sometimes I probably like it a bit quieter. And I just realised the other thing that makes it busy is it's 8:30, which is the time for the second sitting of dinner. Thank you very much. Interesting. So my glass of Chardonnay turned red, but I got charged for Chardonnay. Lucky I'm not a fussy wine drinker. The table that they've set me up is literally in a corridor. I think it's a great table. I love people watching. I don't really want to film in the other direction because I don't want to film people that don't want to be filmed. But yeah, it's quite something. I think once all the 8:30 diners have sat down, it'll be a lot calmer. But it was just like a moment of chaos. Lots of people complaining about being not served first or sat at their table. And I think the other thing is that for a lot of people, this is just a 2-night cruise, like it is for me. I always feel like whenever you get on a cruise, it normally takes at least a couple of nights to really get yourself sorted, work out where your table is, all of those kind of things. So I think where the ship picks up and drops off people at each port, I think it is just a different thing. I wasn't sure that I liked it before, but actually now I'm getting to the point where I actually quite like it. So here is my calamari. Looks good. Gonna squeeze some lemon over it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be served cold. If I prefer it completely cold than lukewarm. It's actually quite tasty. So I'm having a lasagna and also the obligatory French fries, which I wasn't sure whether they were actually going to bring because they said they might not have them. But here they are. One thing I can say is it's definitely going to need another glass of wine to wash all this down. So my lasagna is hot. Actually very tasty. Got my fries. They are cold and a little cardboardy. Maybe you shouldn't ask for extras. The lasagna is actually very good. It's got real nice depth of flavour to the sauce. Thank you very much. My glass of Chardonnay has also arrived. Chilled red wine. I'd normally go with a Pinot Noir, but actually it's quite nice as well. Shouldn't knock it. I wonder if the Chardonnay that I've been charged for is actually more or less than the wine that's been delivered. It's quite drinkable though, to be fair. And anyone that really knows me will know I'm actually very fussy about wine. The tiramisu is excellent. Really tasty. Best tiramisu I've had for a long time. I think it's actually better than Yacht Club tiramisu. While the menus changed every night and offered a good variety of dishes, it was a bit chaotic on the evening I ate there. The food was okay, but it wasn't amazing. It was nice to have a multi-course meal included, but it wasn't exactly the culinary highlight of the trip. One of the other perks of your experience is the private Top 18 sun deck. This is the Top 18 solarium. It's looking very not open at the moment. Says it's too windy. Been doing some deck repairs up here as well. Those are these sticky bits on the ground. So it turned out that the sun deck was only closed for the day, and the next day when I went back, I got in there without any problems at all. On this particular cruise, it was super quiet, which was amazing. So lucky to be the only one up here as well. Maybe nobody else is as mad to go up on here. At some points, it seemed like I had the entire area to myself. It was the perfect place to relax, and the hot tub there was incredible. It's a great, peaceful alternative to the main pools, almost like having a mini yacht club sun deck, but without the cost. It's definitely a good compromise. The tranquility and the privacy really made it a standout feature of the trip for me, and it did help that the weather was amazing as well. This is most definitely the life. The only thing that would make it even better with a nice cold drink. To be honest, at the moment I quite fancy just a Diet Coke, but a beer would also be good. There was even a little stowaway bird that had joined us, making a temporary home for itself on the sun lounges. For the more adventurous side of the cruise, I have to talk about the water slides and the water park. Given that I've been meaning to try it for so long, I'm going to go and see if I can suss it out. I've never actually been on a water slide on a ship, so I think it's a good opportunity to try. Well, best made plans and all that, but I was going to go, I've just been to the gym for a while, and I was going to go straight up to the water slide, because I thought it would be probably the time when it wouldn't feel quite so cold. But it's actually closed until 2 o'clock. The Vertigo side is an absolute must-do. It's one of the longest single-rider water slides at sea, and the best part is the clear section that takes you right over the edge of the ship. Talk about a thrilling view. I was terrified. So I did brave the water slide, just in the name of research, and I can confirm it was absolutely terrifying, and not something that I particularly want to repeat again. Also, I took my iPhone down with me because I wanted to video it, but it didn't start recording. And then now it's made my iPhone very unhappy. It seems to have got water into the speaker. So that's not so good, but I'm glad that I went down it. It's an experience, and I'm even more glad that Milo didn't get a chance to go down it when we were last on holiday, because he would have absolutely hated it. So I think I'm going to have a bit of a chill out for a while and then go and find a cold beer. There's also the kids' water park area, which is brilliant with lots of fun splash pads, smaller slides and water features. It's a great spot for families and honestly a lot of fun for adults too. For me, one of the standout parts of the cruise adventure was the entertainment, particularly the incredible theatre show. The cruise had so many different nationalities on board, so the main theatre show was based on a circus. This meant that there wasn't a real storyline or so much speaking, but it was absolutely incredible. The visual spectacle, the acrobatics and the performances were so great that they didn't need anything to translate them. It was a really clever and captivating way to put on a show that everyone would be able to enjoy.
It's amazing the lengths that you can go to get a free drink. So normally we would have a drinks package, but as I don't on this cruise, I decided to check out the Voyagers Club event, and these are normally things that we wouldn't bother doing. Got a free glass of Prosecco anyway. Actually, it's quite interesting because when we were in Yacht Club earlier this year, we sat in the Yacht Club section at the top, and actually you get a really different perspective from a lot lower down. So my lovely room steward has just been in with the details of disembarkation tomorrow, which is always the worst bit, I think. But at least I've only got another couple of weeks before we'll be on another cruise, and I'm looking forward to this next part of the adventure. Tomorrow I'm going to be getting a train from Hamburg, the main station, about 9:45 I think, and that's going to be taking me all the way to Cologne, which is about 200 miles and 4 hours or thereabouts on the train. So my disembarkation time, like my regular disembarkation time, would be 9:20. And actually that's one of the interesting things about MSC cruises, is that they're not really in the same hurry to get to a zero count. So you can stay on a bit later, but I've already got other plans. I am going to self-disembark from 7 o'clock tomorrow. I think my plan is to walk to Hamburg station, but I can't remember how far it was, and I haven't got any internet signal at the moment to be able to look and see in any more detail. You can have the breakfast in the buffet or in the main dining room. I think I will probably try the main dining room before I get off. Then I will be heading to get on the train. I'm really excited about the next stage of this adventure. Now, the cruise has been absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed a relaxing day at sea and some of the entertainment and food. A very good morning from here in Hamburg, Germany. It's quite chilly this morning and a little bit overcast, but I think it's going to brighten up a bit later. I'm glad to be getting off the ship today. I've really enjoyed my time on Preziosa this time, but I'm glad to be getting off because last night I had such a terrible night's sleep. Everything seemed really quiet, and then it got, I don't know, it must have been like 1 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and there are literally people running down corridors, screaming and shouting. There was the luggage being taken. I'm absolutely shattered this morning. So I'm looking forward to getting off and starting the next phase of this adventure. I need to get from here at the cruise port along to the main station in Hamburg to then join the train, which is going to take us to Cologne. I think I'm going going to try and have a decent cup of coffee. I went to make one this morning just from the kettle in the room, and it was only decaf, which is no good to anyone. So I'm going to go and try and find a coffee, and then I'm going to get off the ship. So I grabbed myself a pan of chocolate and a pan of raisin, a double espresso, which is vital this morning because I'm so shattered. And it's really quiet in here, which is quite surprising. So I'm just going to enjoy my breakfast, and then I'm going to hop off the ship. And this is it, here in Hamburg. One of the other things that I found a bit strange about this cruise was that they kept my passport when I got on. So I had to go and pick it up yesterday. Hopefully it's not going to take too long to get through passport control here. One of the things that I think is quite good, it's always quite organised when you get off the ship with your luggage. But at least if you self to disembark, you don't have to wait at all. And our next stop is the main train station. There are plenty of taxis waiting as well, so you don't even necessarily need to bother doing an Uber, but I guess that's the other advantage of self-disembarking, really. So as I came out of the terminal, I noticed that MSC were selling bus tickets to get to the central station, and it was €10, and I think it's going to be like €35 in a Uber. So I decided to give that a go, as I'm not actually in a hurry. Don't need to be at the station in about another 2 hours yet. So hopefully this will work out. This area of Hamburg is very industrial, so Hamburg is a busy working port, and I guess because it's Sunday and also quite early in the morning, it seems really quiet. So here we are, see the station on our right hand side. It's quite an impressive, kind of imposing building from the outside. This place is a landmark in itself. It was opened back in 1906, and it was designed to replace a number of smaller stations and bring all of the railway lines together. It was designed by the architects Heinrich Reinhardt and George Stunnng, and it's famous for its huge iron and glass train shed, truly stunning. The station was actually inspired by a building at the 1889 World Fair in Paris, having been rebuilt after significant damage during World War II. It's a place with a real sense of history, and it's incredible to think about the journey it's been on, having been rebuilt after such significant damage during World War II. I had to walk along quite a long way, but I managed to work out where the train is going from. I need to head down to platform 13 when I'm ready. I think what I'm going to try and do is find somewhere to have another coffee. There's quite a large food court area just as you come into the station. And actually, I'd say there's a lot of shops as well. Everything's open, even though it's Sunday. And I can see a supermarket up there, Tam. So I wonder if I need to get some snacks for journey. Some absolutely amazing looking sandwiches here. Loads of pastry as well. Let's see what else they've got around here. Wow, that's very impressive. I think I might have to choose one of these bagels. Now, a lot of people come to Hamburg to visit one of its most incredible attractions, the miniature wonderland. I actually visited it on a previous trip, and if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link in the description for you to check it out. So 9:46 to Munich is the one that we're going on. The thing that's perplexing me slightly at the moment is where to wait for the train. My ticket has numbers and there are letters on the train board. I'm in first class, so I'm thinking I'm in the right place. It also occurred to me that I hadn't actually been on a long-distance train journey for a very long time. I can't even remember the last time I've been. So we go to London, or I got to start my journey to Southampton, but I couldn't even tell you the last time I went on a long-distance train. I think the thing is, like in the UK, train travel is so expensive and car travel is just so much easier that often you don't even really think to go on a train on a long-distance journey. But I'd say that the tickets that I got, so I'm in first class today, the tickets for Germany were very reasonable, I thought. Over here we've got the double-decker trains. I always think it's a real shame that in the UK we don't have any at all. I think it would just cost them too much to rebuild the tunnels that would be high enough to go through. Here's one of the night jet trains arriving. I really want to have a go at overnight train. We've never done that before, and I've watched loads and loads of videos. And here comes my train. Lucky enough to be travelling first class, a real treat. First class experience on these German intercity trains is fantastic. The cost to upgrade really wasn't that much at all, and I'll let you know at the end of the video how much the whole trip cost. You get so much more space, the seats are much more comfortable, and the carriage is a lot quieter. This is quite cool, so when you've connected to the Wi-Fi, you can see all the information about your journey, including how fast you're going, 113.4 kilometres an hour. Another perk was that you can order food directly to your seat using your phone. I'm super impressed. I just ordered myself a coffee using the app that you can use, and it arrived very quickly, and in a proper mug as well. The seats on this train are in a 2-1 configuration, so I've got a seat here on my own, next to the window, Seats are really comfortable and they've got these soft ears as well. It just makes me want to go to sleep, especially after last night. And Dick's legroom is also good. I've got comfy footrest down here as well. I managed to get my carry-on bag into the overhead rack without any problems at all. And I've just kept my camera bag near my feet. I've just walked to the bathroom, which is all nice and clean. Spotless, I would say. Maybe not spotless, but certainly clean and tidy. Just got really disoriented and walked quite a long way up the train. Slightly concerned about finding my way back to the right carriage. My memory is so awful for things like this. I've had to get Milo to make me a special thing for my padlock when I go to the gym. It's distinctive, otherwise I'll never remember what locker I've put any of my stuff in. We're just having a slight delay due to unauthorised people on the track, saying it's going to be about 15 minutes. These things happen. I'm comfy and warm, that's the main thing. Just had too much coffee to doze now. As the train was delayed, I decided I'd have something to eat, and then I also felt obliged to have a beer as well.
I just ordered a delicious falafel wrap oriental and a refreshing Starnberger Hell beer, which was delivered right here to my seat.
Cold and very refreshing.
Such good service, just adds a little special touch to the whole journey.
Looks and smells very good. This falafel wrap is so good. It's got really herby wrap and quite a bit of a kick in the, I guess it's probably in the falafel. It goes down just perfectly with a nice cold beer. I was planning to do some work on the train on the way, but it's just so relaxing looking out the window. And the other thing is the seat that I booked. It's only got a table that folds down like an L kind of table, and it's really big enough to get my MacBook out. I'm sitting out with my beer at the moment, so that's my excuse, and that's why I'm sticking to it. There's plenty of time to do work other times. Because these trains, they are tilting, I have to keep a good hold of my beer, because otherwise I could just see it going straight off the table. And in fact, one of the staff here just dropped a glass, and there's quite a lot of glass on the ground now. I'd say it tilts quite a lot, more than I was expecting. One of the things that's really impressed me on this trip is how multilingual a lot of people are. So on the Preziosa last night, I think there were people who were fluent in 3 or 4 languages, which I just think is amazing. And I think for English-speaking countries, or certainly for the UK anyway, we don't really do a lot of language learning. So when I was at school, I learnt French until 18, which was a choice. I learnt German until I was 14, but never really that much engaged with it. And I also learnt Latin until I was 16. So many of these people who've got really good language skills. I just think it's such a good skill to have. We should all make more effort. Sarah was doing a bit of looking into what it was like to get home, and so tomorrow what I've got is a supposedly 2-hour trip from Cologne up to Brussels, and then about 2 hours on Eurostar to London, and then 2 hours from London back to where I live. So it's going to be quite a long day of travelling tomorrow. I don't need to leave until just after lunch though, which is good. So I should have a bit of time to have a little bit of a wander around Cologne. Just grabbed my bag down from the overhead lockers, so we've got about 10 minutes until we arrive into Cologne. And it just reminded me of, it was awful. I was doing a long distance trip from Manchester back to London, and I left my bag in the overhead locker, and very, very luckily I did get it back maybe a week or 10 days later. But I'm trying to definitely make sure that I don't forget anything. I've got it down, even though we've got a while still to go.
The journey itself is a beautiful one, and travelling this way really makes it feel like part of a holiday, not just a stop from A to B. Next stop, Cologne. Welcome to Cologne, my terrible German pronunciation, or Cologne in my slightly better English pronunciation. This is another impressive looking station. Wowzers. Well, I challenge you to find a more spectacular exit or entrance to a station anywhere in the world. It is absolutely spectacular. I don't think there are many places that you arrive at that quite that impressive. It's impossible to miss. From the main station, it's a short walk to the Hotel Altermarkt where I'm staying. The hotel's in a really good location, right in the heart of the old town. It's got so much character and a very traditional feel. Let me give you a quick tour of my room. It's cosy, clean, and has a fantastic surprise waiting for me. 601 Dom Suite. This is us. As you come in, you've got steep, spirally steps going up. I love this. I guess it's wallpaper that's been put up, and you've got this great big chaise longue, which I'm guessing can probably be made into another bed, and then a desk and kind of comfy seating area. And then you find yourself in the main bit of the room. So we've got a big TV. Oh, and look, somebody seems to have been watching Inspired by the Journey. What good taste they obviously have. Nice granite or possibly quartz table, and one of those kind of, I guess it's a love seat or a snuggle seat, really comfy. Now let's walk round into the main bedroom area. Absolutely ginormous bed, and these duvets, 2 separate duvets, which I always think is such a good idea. Stops you fighting for the duvet. And then we've got reading lights over here, both sides of the bed. Right, now there's only one thing for it. I need to do the bed test. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it's firm, very firm. I hope it's going to be a bit quieter than the cabin was the last couple of nights. I'll probably be complaining about cathedral bells tomorrow morning, and then follow round into the, I guess this is the wardrobe, tea and coffee area. So we've got a reasonable selection of teas and coffees. Let's open this up so we can see. Yeah, so some fruit teas, some regular coffee, some decaf, a couple of mugs and a kettle. There isn't really a wardrobe as such, there's just this kind of hanging area. That would be absolutely fine for a few days, wouldn't it? And then let me show you around into the bathroom. Got this enormous shower. I'm not going to do a walk with me Tim kind of how many people will you fit in the shower, but it's a spacious shower, let's put it that way. Lovely rainfall shower. And this is literally the view from your bathroom window in the suite. No filters needed. And what's really hard to get a sense of in here is actually the amount of space in this room and how long and narrow it is. Just going to pace it out a little bit. That's absolutely enormous. We've got an amazing direct view of the Dom from multiple windows. Absolutely incredible. So here is the view from my window, and we've got 4 enormous windows like this. They're like Velux skylights. And just look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful cathedral. And that is just going to look absolutely stunning lit up at night, I can just tell. It's a perfect base for exploring. So my plan was to go and look around the cathedral a bit later. In fact, I was planning to go to a service at 5:30. I might just go and have a bit of a wander around, do a bit of filming outside, because I didn't really want to be doing too much filming when I was carrying around all my other camera stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and do a bit of filming outside. You simply can't come to Cologne without visiting the iconic Cologne Dom. It's an absolutely breathtaking masterpiece of Gothic architecture, and the history behind it is just as incredible. It's a queue to get into the cathedral. It's not too bad, to be honest. Here are some interesting facts about the Dom while I show you around. Construction started all the way back in 1248, but it took over 600 years to complete, and it was finally finished in 1880. It's hard to imagine that now, isn't it, really? I guess the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona is probably the closest thing we've got to it now. What's even more amazing, though, is that the Dom survived massive bombing during World War II. The Dom itself was bombed 12 times during the war, and it sustained very significant damage. It took them about 60 years to repair it. It's said that the Allied pilots used its spires as a navigational landmark, which is why it was spared. Just love little facts like that. Beyond just admiring its beauty though, I had the incredible privilege of attending 2 services here. Being able to experience services in such a historic and grand setting was really moving and a highlight for me. It gave me a much deeper appreciation for the Dom's significance beyond just its visual beauty. It was a really special, unforgettable experience, and as usual I took the time to light a candle. But of course, no trip would be complete without trying some of the local cuisine, and I think that can be the downside of a cruise. Sometimes it does mean that you mostly eat on the ship, but this time, because I was in a hotel as well, it gave me that extra bit of time. For dinner, I went to a legendary local brewery, the Brauhaus Sion. This place is famous for its hearty food, and of course its beer. I felt like I had to try their house speciality, which the waiter recommended as well. That is a 1/4 metre of bratwurst sausage, served with Savoy cabbage in cream and fried potatoes. It was a massive and absolutely delicious meal, perfect and just what I needed after a day of exploring. The beer here is an experience in itself. They serve their local Kolsch straight from the barrel in small 0.2 litre glasses. The waiters, or Kobes as they're called, just keep bringing them until you say stop, and they keep a tally of how many you've had by marking your beer mat on the table. It's quite a fun and unique tradition, I thought. After a brilliant night's sleep at the hotel, breakfast was an experience in itself.
It's a good cup of coffee.
There was the usual choice of hot and cold breakfast items, but the real star of the show for me was the incredible selection of cakes, which of course I decided was the perfect breakfast pudding, because apparently that is a thing. It was such a great way to start the day before heading out on our final journey. Before I came away, I made the mistake of watching these programme about scammers in different cities, and I guess what happens to tourists who are taken in by these scams. And the problem with that is it's made me hyper-vigilant now. Everyone has the potential to be a scammer, but of course that's not true. But I just think it's probably not the best programme to have watched before you go on holiday. It's a bit like I love Air Crash Investigates. You definitely don't want to be watching that before you're about to fly somewhere. This whole square that I'm walking through now, so this is Heumarkt, probably said very badly, but this is almost like it's a square next to the square that the hotel Ultramarkt was. So yeah, you could definitely see, I can imagine all the stalls out here for Christmas. I absolutely love a Christmas market. We haven't actually been to that many. We went to Berlin before, which obviously isn't really well known for its Christmas markets, but it was still really fun, and you get real kind of atmosphere as well. So this is where I went last night for my beer and dinner. Couldn't really get much closer to the hotel other than an Irish pub that was actually next door. From the hotel, it was just a short and pleasant walk down to the river. Some of the boats that are moored up here, I think must be river cruise boats. We haven't been on a river cruise yet, but I've seen quite a few videos of it recently, and I do quite fancy it. I think the only thing that would put me off slightly is that they're a lot smaller than kind of a regular cruise ship, and fewer people. You might run into people that you don't get on with and then not be able to get away from it for the whole rest of the trip, especially if you've got an assigned dining table as well. But yeah, I definitely want to try a river cruise though. Look at this absolutely stunning square behind me. I didn't even notice from there that you've got the spires of the Dom Cathedral as well. I need to be a little bit careful of the time because it's nearly 11 o'clock now. My train leaves at 1:45, so I've got probably at most a couple of hours to look round. This is interesting. Not sure if it's some kind of memorial, I guess it must be. This is really interesting too. So you've got like a strange kind of juxtaposition of amazing kind of Gothic spires and the outsides of the cathedral, and then this much newer building right next to it. Weird thing is, I guess it's been done in a quite sympathetic kind of architectural way because somehow it just kind of fits together without looking out of place. The real highlight was seeing the famous Hohenzollern Bridge. It looks like it's one of these places where people put loads and loads of padlocks everywhere. As you get closer, you start to see all the incredible padlocks that cover the railings. It's actually quite incredible. Literally as far as the eye can see. People have got a bit creative and been starting to put them a bit higher up as well. It's an amazing sight with thousands upon thousands of them. I think this started in Paris, but it seems to have spread everywhere now. Have you ever left a padlock on a bridge? Let me know where. I don't think I have. So now I've got just about an hour and a quarter until my train leaves. So I need to pop back to the hotel, pick up my luggage, then get on my way. I'm one of these people who likes to be early for everything. Makes me anxious when you're supposed to be somewhere and you're wondering how much time you've got to get there. Or you're rushing. So that's it, I'm all packed up. I feel like I've got more stuff than when I came, but I don't think that's even possible. Now, my trouble with travelling alone is I have absolutely zero sense of direction. So even though I've only walked along here about half an hour ago, and I've been along this road quite a lot, still had to get Google Maps to find me the way. So sadly, it's time to say goodbye to Cologne now, as our journey takes us to Brussels. The German and Belgian rail networks are incredibly efficient, so this part of the journey should be really smooth going. Here's what it was like. It's quite a grand kind of foyer. Right, so first class today is in area D and E, so I'm going to walk along. The lady in the shop was funny. She was one of the most unfriendly people that I've had the misfortune to meet, which is a real shame because almost everyone I've come across in Germany has been so friendly. And she wouldn't sell me a piece of streusel unless I bought 2 pieces. This is the pretzel that I picked up at the station. It's not actually like a full pretzel, it's more like a mini baguette size one, because the full ones are massive. It's very tasty. Not too busy at the moment. I've dropped my pretzel that I've put on my case about 5 times. So I'm going to wait somewhere around here because I said first was like straddling between D and E. Wait seat over here for a minute.
The experience on the train was slightly different to the previous day. There was no ordering at your seat or anything like that, but it was still comfortable, and I enjoyed the scenery as we kind of went along our little way.
So we've picked up a bit of a delay already, about 15 minutes. I'm not too worried because I've got 2 hours for my connection in Brussels. I would say the seating area is very similar to on the ICE train from Hamburg. Slight difference, which I'll show you. So up here you've got this quite clever thing where you can put your tablet, so it's like a seatback TV. Other than that, there's a cup and bottle holder, which is a good idea because on the train from Hamburg, when you went around the corner, everything just went sliding off your table. You've also got a hook here for coats. So whenever I see these things, like I wonder, I can't actually imagine that I would hang my coat there because it's in your way a bit.
And with that, here we are at Brussels Midi, where this train terminates. Now I need to go and find a lounge.
When I got to Brussels, I was able to access the incredible Eurostar Premier Lounge. And I would be able to access it, but first I had to find it.
It looks like we can check in from 4 p.m, which it nearly is 4 p.m. So I'm just going to see where we go. We want platform 1. So this is intra-Schengen, which I guess is why it's from platform 1 and 2.
Well, eventually I worked out where to go to find the Eurostar Lounge. It's one of the disadvantages of travelling on your own and also having a very poor sense of direction. In my defence, the access to the lounge looked as though it was through a building site.
Hopefully there'll be somebody here in a minute to let me through. So this looks like a pretty nice lounge, and at the moment I have it all to myself, which is a bit surreal really. Comfy chairs, got lots of charging points. I'm travelling on a Monday afternoon, which I'm guessing is probably why it is as quiet as it actually is. Due to arrive back in London about 7, all being well. Don't know why, but these displays are a bit mesmerising.
It's a really great place to relax with comfy seating and a peaceful atmosphere. Best of all, they had some incredible Belgian beer.
Bagel chips and also some parmesan biscuits. And a different beer to try this time.
It was a good compromise as there wasn't really enough time to step out of the main station. From here, I'll be catching a famous Eurostar back to London.
I'd say this is not the most relaxing part of travelling on Eurostar. So I'm looking for coach 8, seat 14.
Today, I'm travelling in their new Eurostar Plus class, and as part of the ticket, you get a light meal and drinks served at your seat. I thought it would be the perfect way to cross the channel in a little bit of style. Whenever I go on the Eurostar, I always feel a little bit of excitement. The check-in process is so simple, you don't need to be there very much before, and you know that you're only a few hours away from being back in the UK. The journey was comfortable, although I have to say, the trains are looking a bit jaded.
Carpets have certainly seen better days. These Eurostar bathrooms leave quite a lot to be desired. Pretty small and also not particularly clean.
It is still a great way to travel between these major cities. We're on our way home.
I only just realised that the one ticket that I haven't bought for this whole trip is my ticket back from London to the south coast. So I'm going to try and buy that now in the hope that I'm not going to have to do it at the station. So in theory it should make it quicker to get on my train back. I might be able to pick up a few snacks and maybe a glass of wine on the way back. It's 2 hours on a train. I'm going to need to be sustained on something.
A couple of glasses of wine later, we were back on home soil and at St Pancras Station. It always feels like a bit of a homecoming.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Welcome to London, where the local time is 7 p.m. So now I've just got to work out how to get from the international platform to the regular platforms, and all will be good. Overall, Eurostar was a great experience. I think the thing that really made it great was the service and the facilities, like the lounge, and having the food on the train. The train itself, I would say, is desperately in need of restoration. I spent 10 years working in London. I know well enough. Stand on the right. You don't want to meet the ire of a London commuter.
I've not got much time at St Pancras, but I've got just enough time to head into Marks & Spencer's, the little supermarket, to buy myself something so I can have a glass of wine on the train on the way back to celebrate completion of this amazing trip.
I moved with quite some pace there to pick up a bottle of wine from the Barossa Valley. Unfortunately, they don't have any cups at all, so I'm going to have to just be uncivilised down to the station. Juggling a bottle of wine, camera and a rucksack and a wheelie bag was one step too many. I decided to stop filming for that point, but here we are going down to the platform to get the train to East Croydon.
This is really the home stretch now. Made it onto the Southern Fairway from East Croydon. Impressively, I was able to get a glass because I'm not especially posh. I'm too posh to drink wine out of the bottle. So I found myself a lovely plastic cup. It reminds me of my 10 years of working in London, doing this journey every single day.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
It's always a bit bittersweet when a trip like this comes to an end, but it's also nice to be heading home and looking back on everything I've done and experienced on this trip.
And what I would say is that really travelling on my own is not really what I want to be doing. Like, I would much prefer to be able to travel as a family, but it's very difficult to do that. Like, in the UK, things have got very strict with being able to take children out of school. You only have so much annual leave to be able to take. And if you take all of that in the main kind of school holidays, prices are just crazy. So I think this is what it's going to be like. We'll do our big family holidays and we'll definitely make sure that we can film those. In fact, in a couple of weeks, well, 2 weeks today, we'll be off to LA for our next cruise. But I think, realistically, to get to do the other things that we want to do, I think we're going to have to at least do some of the travelling separately, which isn't great, but it's all experience.
So there we have it, my journey from Sussex in the south coast of England to Southampton, to Hamburg, to Cologne, to Brussels, to London, and back to the south coast of England. It really has been an exceptional trip, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. Thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you did, please do me a huge favour and hit that like button, subscribe for more travel videos, and let me know in the comments below. What was your favourite part of this trip? I'm already thinking about where to go next, but your suggestions would be amazing. Until the next adventure,